Will Jayson Tatum play this upcoming season? We're going to talk all about that in this video. My name is Dr. Marco Lopez, Doctor of Physical Therapy and Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist, and co-founder of the Basketball Doctors. So let's jump into it, guys. So Jayson Tatum tore his Achilles tendon back in the playoffs of May this past year. Now he's had surgery, and there's recent videos showing him dunking. So the big question is, will he get back to playing basketball this year, or this upcoming season? So the big thing is, we got to break this injury down. So when it comes to an Achilles tendon, the Achilles tendon is responsible for you lifting up, going up on your toes. And that plays a huge role when you're playing basketball, because every time you run, jump, cut, you're pushing off. So that's a huge tendon that we need in our bodies. So whenever you tear your tendon, it's not like an ACL, a ligament, that you need to reconstruct the ligament. They actually repair the same tendon, so they'll suture it. So when it comes to the recovery guidelines, early on, you want to have the surgery as fast as possible. So they said with Jayson Tatum, I think he had it within 24 hours. And that's normally, you want to have it as soon as possible, because the sooner you have it, the better chances they have to suture it and create that great length tension relationship that we'll talk about later. So early on after the Achilles tendon, what they're going to do is you'll see people be in a boot. And the reason they'll put people in a boot is because they want that tendon to heal. Because they're repairing that tendon, they're suturing, you don't want to stretch it out. Normally they'll keep you in a boot, then from the boot they'll progress you to a cast/boot, and then they'll progress you to a boot with a little lift. The reason they'll have a lift is because this is your foot. If you start walking early on without a little lift on your heel, you're actually going to be stretching out that Achilles tendon. And early on, that sounds kind of counterintuitive. They're like, why wouldn't you want to stretch it? But you actually want to maintain its tension the entire time. So you don't want to overstretch it, because what we've seen is people work on too much stretching of the tendon after Achilles tendon, is that they'll have too much laxity and that you don't have that enough tension. So whenever you're going to push and get into certain positions or jump, that tension, you don't have that as much tension, and you have more length, and that changes everything up. So early on, you actually want the ankle to stiffen up. You want that Achilles tendon to stiffen up. That way you maintain that length and tension. Then you slowly start stretching it, and then it'll slowly stretch itself while strengthening itself as well, while you're strengthening. The big goals for an Achilles tendon that we want to get back to, and Jayson Tatum, you've seen his workouts, he's dunking. Big things is we really want to work on that calf strength. A lot of people lose so much calf strength, and the big thing is not only the calf strength, but the actual plantar flexion, full plantar flexion movement. You'll see people, when they'll do a calf raise on one leg, they'll go much higher than the leg that they injured or had surgery on. So big goals that we want our athletes, especially with Jayson Tatum, before he fully goes back onto the court, is you want him to have the calf raise with one leg as high as the other leg, but not only as high, but also as many reps as the other leg. You want to get to at least that 90% before going back to sport. Also, you really need to make sure you're working the entire chain. We've seen a lot of injuries where you injure your Achilles tendon, then you end up having an ACL injury, because a lot of people don't trust their leg. It's also a psychological component when it comes to Achilles tendon repair, because if you guys remember, he steps back and then he pushes off, and that's where it happened. So the big thing is getting comfortable in inserting pushing positions, and know that you trust that tendon to do its job. When it comes to his full recovery, I don't think he'll be back this upcoming season, because it's just pushing it too close. So he had surgery in May. So in order for him to get back, he has to be in a position by, let's say, April, because if he doesn't, he'll just be back just in time for the playoffs, and that's just too risky, because you also want a slow ramp up. Because with an Achilles tendon, the risk of going back too early are, one, tendonitis, tendinopathy. The tendon isn't ready for the activities. You add too much to it, the tendon just leads to some tendinopathy, and that might lead to some re-rupture. Another thing that you see that I mentioned before is you'll have injuries to the opposite leg or to the ACL, because the Achilles and the foot isn't strong enough to do its job. And remember, it all starts here down below at the feet, and if they can't do its job, then something else has to take up. So those are some of the risk factors. But I think based on timelines, I think it's cutting it too close. Personally, I would probably wait one more year. I know they've already said Tyrese Halliburton is waiting 1 year, Damian Lillard is waiting 1 year. But the good thing with Tatum, he's younger, so the tendon quality is better. As you get older, the tendon quality itself isn't as great as you were younger. but he's just cutting it too close. Normally Achilles tendon, we see anywhere between 9 to 12 months recovery, and he's going to be pushing it right there and there. So I think we'll probably see him not this year, in the following year, just to make sure he's 100%. But if we do see him, it's going to be later towards the playoffs, and you might see his game a little different. As opposed to driving so much, he might be more of a spot-up shooter or just more of a pull-up shooter, just because he might not look the same. And that's what we've seen with a lot of athletes coming back from their Achilles. They're not the same, and they take a little while to get back. But hopefully you guys learned a little bit about the Achilles tendon repair process and if he's going to come back this year. I don't think he'll be back this upcoming NBA season, but let us know in the comments below what you guys think. If you guys like this video, if you guys want us to cover any NBA athlete, comment below. Share this with friends and family, hit the like button, and subscribe to our channel. We are the Basketball Doctors. Let's ball for life.